everybody, and thank you for joining us here today. I have with me Dr. Elham Hassanain, who's joined us here to be talking to us about a lot of things. But before we get started into our discussion and question and answers, first of all, I'd like to thank you, Elham, for joining me here today and for sharing all the insights that you're going to be sharing with us. So welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're very welcome. So I'm going to tell a little bit about Elham for everybody so that you know what Elham's background is, and then we'll get straight into some of the questions. A little bit about Elham's educational background. Elham's got an MSc and a PhD in electrical and electronic engineering from Surrey University in the United Kingdom. A little bit about Elham's work experience. Al Qura University is where Elham's been working as a faculty member in the College of Computer Science and Information Technology, and started as head of IT Center, then head of Female Computer Science Department, vice dean of the College for Academic Development and Community Service. Dr. Elham is actually appointed as one of the first 30 female parliamentarian in the Saudi Shura Council. We'll touch on what Shura is a little bit later on. For now, take my word on it. She's also been named as one of the 100 most powerful Arab women by Forbes in 2014. Dr. Elham is also the head of Digital Transformation Smart Communities Task Force S20 in the G20 KSA 2020. First female vice president on a co-gender education private university, and also member of Himaya Information Security Association, Middle East Cyber Ladies Association, that is. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. And also, she's a member of the Cybersecurity Higher Education Academic Program and reviewer, and also accreditor. A lot of accolades, a lot of great things that Dr. Elham has done. I'm only sharing few of those information with all of you here today, but it's an incredible career that you have had so far. And what a lovely journey, Dr. Elham. So lovely to have you here with me today once again.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start asking some of the questions which will touch on some of the things that you've done in your career, some of the associations that you've had as well. First of all, I'd like to start a little bit about some of the initiatives. So I'm going to touch on one of the things here. You were a pioneer in establishing the very first undergraduate cybersecurity and forensic computing program in KSA. Could you maybe tell a little bit about it, and how did your role in the Shura support this initiative overall?
Sure. Well, I was working in the Shura Parliament, which is the Saudi Parliament, and during that time, I was requested by one of the colleagues who was heading a private university to be a consultant in the programs they have. They had a lot of programs from Minnesota University, so it was one of these universities who had international collaboration with other universities. And during our discussions, the most important side was the Computer Science College, so he wanted me to look at the programs. The nice thing about this whole issue was that we were in the Shura, in the Parliament. It's a bit different than the UK Parliament. So it's in the Parliament, if I may just give a brief what we usually do, we look at all of the reports which come from the ministries, from the higher education. As a team, we are representing the community and the society, and we check out these reports. So within these reports, there was some touch about that we have some computer science graduates, and we don't have the employment for these people who are graduating. So this was one of the issues. So looking at the programs which this university has just brought from international universities, they were focusing on computer science. So when you're seeing that you have a lot of computer scientists who don't have the proper job, or even they were employed but they were not employed in computer science, it was a bit tricky. So I was discussing this with the committee in the university, and I said, no, we were just saying there's not enough jobs. Why are we bringing this high prestigious program and then creating graduates in a field where we have a lot of people who are still not working, and we're trying to find solutions for that? So they looked at me, what's wrong with this lady? First of all, I was the lady within a committee of all males, and that was a bit different then, So I said, we should find something new. And they were a bit upset, the men in the college, because they've been working hard and this is our program. So the president said, okay, Dr. Elham, nice, what you're saying is nice, but can you tell us what programs should we bring instead? So I don't have anything on the top of my head, but I'm sure we can research. And I really did. And I was given to head this committee and bring back what programs we could find. Researching cybersecurity was the #1 thing which the whole world needed. It was a global need. There was millions of jobs, and we didn't have the people who would fill it globally. And it was then the same time as where, I don't know whether you know, we had a lot of cyber attacks on the kingdom and Aramco and all of this. So it was all together, working together. And we didn't have an undergraduate program. We didn't have a single undergraduate program in cybersecurity. And this is where the idea came. And I brought this back to the committee, and with all of the references and the numbers we needed and all of the cyber armies in the world, and, you know, where we stood in between this. So they said, okay, this is a good idea. But the director said, or the president said, I have one thing, which is my decisive whether we will accept this program or not. I said, okay, it has to be of international standard and it has to be accredited. So find us a program which is, if anybody would graduate from it, can work anywhere in the world, because you're saying it's not. And this is the beginning of this program. And we started researching. I had a team with us, and we had a, you know, most of the programs are based on the USA. This is the system, and this is how the university was working. But undergraduate programs then, that was in 2014, were not accredited in the USA. The programs which were accredited for undergraduate level were all in Britain, in the UK. So the ACM had accredited undergraduate programs. So we based our program on the British system. Plus, there was an IEEE research paper stating that if they were to accredit, these are the areas which they would cover. So the uniqueness of this program was that it was internationally based, and it took into consideration accreditation of the UK and accreditation which will be implemented in 3-4 years' time in the USA. And we created this program. Okay, we have this beautiful program, but it's not accredited. So what do? We had to go to the UK, and I remember myself taking this program with me to the UK. And also then, you know, the UK didn't know a lot about Saudi Arabia and the educational system. So I had to go to search for a high quality university, and Cardiff University was one of the top because it was part of the Russell Group. And I had the opportunity to write an email to Professor Rana Omar, and I said, I'm from Saudi Arabia, I have a program I would like you to have a look at. He said, okay, what is the program? Could you send me a copy? Because, you know, they don't know what Saudi Arabia has. And I did send the program to him. And I think he really liked it. He actually said this is a very good organized program. Yes, sure. And we started collaborating with the University of Cardiff, and they reviewed the program and approved it. They gave us what things they thought they needed in the labs, what extra things we needed, and it was approved. And this was the beginning of the collaboration with Cardiff University, which was really amazing, because the way they gave us what are the issues, so very organized reports on what the issues were, what we should do, and we did do this. Now, at the same time, the president, because he used to be a vice minister of education a long time ago, he said, listen, we do not want to graduate our students and then they don't have a job. So in the system of Saudi Arabia, you have to have a position in the human resources. So when somebody graduates, they have to have a job. So he made another team which worked on stating what this job is, and we went to the ministry and we actually had a job. So actually the first batch in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia which graduated from Prince Mikran University in this field, computer science and forensic computing, graduated with a job ready for them. And then all the other universities started mushrooming with the programs, and we had the association for the cybersecurity. And as you may know now, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is ranking very fast in the cybersecurity field. So this was actually the program which I'm really proud of, actually.
You should be. You absolutely should be proud of the program. It sounds like an incredible story, and what an incredible journey. It must have been so difficult to get through all the process to then come back to the UK and then collaborate with Cardiff. And I want to get to that in a minute. But it's such an amazing kind of end to the story as well, where it was not just creating this undergraduate program, but making sure that everybody who graduates is able to have a job, and creating that job profile and getting these students to also work in this field once they've graduated is actually icing on the cake. So once again, hats off to all the amazing work that you've done, Dr. Elham. I do want to get to the point that you mentioned about coming to the UK, trying to collaborate with Cardiff, and you said there was a little bit of a struggle in order to figure out which university. So I want to ask you, why did you choose Cardiff, and through all of this, what were some of the things that you learned? If you'd like to share those experiences with the audience, that'd be brilliant. As to, what were some of the learnings that came out of this whole process from the time you created that undergraduate program to the collaboration with Cardiff University, and then trying to create that job profile as well?
Sure. Cardiff University was, I actually had 3 universities. I researched all the universities in the kingdom, and I chose 3, which are, as I said, from the Russell Group, because I didn't want any university. It's a 2 thing. Saudi Arabia also is more into it was more into the USA system. So for me to come and say, no, I want a university in the UK, I'm sort of, my bachelor degree, my master's and PhD, I'm smart, they've taught me a lot. So I had to search and bring one of the strongest universities in the field, so that I really can apply and say, this is the best one. And Cardiff University was, to be honest with you, I saw the program that they had. They were working, and they had a lot of students who are working after, the profile for the job. So it was my best choice. And Professor Ammar was, he really responded fast also, and gave me the comments. I can see it from his first email, so this was my only way to go. And it was a very good choice. What I learned from this whole experience, and something which I would like, I know your audience mostly are females, and perhaps also youth who sometimes you think, shall I do it or shall I not? It's always frightening to start something which nobody heard of. I mean, like the president said, Dr. Elham, I've been asking people from computer science, PhD, do you know anything about cybersecurity? They say, no, they've never heard of it. He said, I'm not sure about what you're saying, this feeling, and you really have to stand and say no, because I've done the research, So anytime one wants to make an initiative, I don't think you should back down. If you do your work right, your research right, I saw that there was a need with referencing worldwide. Stand to your grounds. And for a female, I think that is more important, because it's not something not known. I mean, all the studies say, that you're stereotyped, females, we back down fast. In this situation, no. Because I was also collaborating in my mind between what I was hearing in the Shura and what I'm hearing in the needs. So there's no way you can say no. But you have to be strong and believe in what you do. So I think this was a very important point in the career. And to be honest with you, it's very important to say that I cannot say that females should take place of the males. No, because then when I was working, I also found out that in the Shura, we are always complementing each other in the way we think. Anything we're talking about, we've seen that. We as females have a view, and then our male colleagues have another view. We never, and they all complement each other. So for me, my support was the president of the university, and he was a male colleague. If he didn't support me, I wouldn't have been able to get this program off ground. So
Absolutely.
I think it's very important for us to know that if you really do your work right, don't let anybody let you back off. And then you're going to see it. You're going to see the goal in front of you.
That is so true. That is a really nice piece of advice to all the listeners there. Thank you for sharing that with us. I want to get to another part of one of the associations that you're involved with, Dr. Elham. If you could maybe share a little bit about the Himayah Protection, the Cybersecurity Association in KSA, which specifically highlighting the cyber ladies, that part of initiative. Maybe tell us a little bit about that, how you're involved, and what comes out of that.
Sure. So Himayah started off as a group of very passionate males and females in the IT, and it was starting the Information Security Association. They were working really hard. I was in the Shura then, and I was approached by them to come and give what we need as a country in the IT and how we can elaborate on the cybersecurity and things like this. And they were amazing, honestly. They had weekly, it was all voluntary work. People who are working in the different fields, but they had a passion about, making this association so that they can speak to the society about what is cybersecurity, what are things, it was, as you know, cybersecurity is a very fast-paced field, and if the human in the society himself, the individual, does not know what's going on, it's an issue. So they were really passionate about making the society understand what is cybersecurity, what do they need to do, how do they keep themselves safe. So I came in and I gave a presentation and a talk. And then after that, they said, we would like you to come in with us as a member in our group, which I actually did. And it was very nice because they started off, you could see them starting off very hardworking people. They started making the structure of this association. They had different fields, so they wanted to work on the academic side. They had a lot of, they have Himayah Academic, they have Himayah Hat, they have Himayah Cyber Ladies. And then they worked really hard to make it as a non-governmental association, which was approved by the country, and it's under the Human Resources and Social Society Ministry. And they are working a lot on a lot of infographics, a lot of seminars for the society. The Cyber Ladies are a very active group, and they do a lot of work for children and introducing, how to keep yourself safe. What is cybersecurity? They have a lot of work in making what did they say? A lot of workshops for the children, workshops for the females. So they are really a very important instigator for the community to be up to date. And it's a lot of hard work they're doing, actually. They have a lot of members and in every field of this group, and they're doing a lot of activities together and collaborating.
It sounds like a lot of great activities going on to this association, and all for the right causes. So again, hats off to this association, and the great work on involving yourself in that association as well. I think you're also part of the Women in Cyber Middle East Association, right? Do you want to talk to us a little bit about what you do in there too?
Sure. They started off as a voluntary group of females working really hard so it was 9 founders from different areas in the Middle East. And they had a passion about supporting females in the cybersecurity. So they were really females, the female society. They started off in 2018 with 9 members, and now they have more than 2,000 members from 25 different countries. Yeah, that's a lot of effort. Wow. And it's also, if you look at it, it's all voluntary work. So everybody has his own work in his own field, but they have the passion to come and work and try to get all the females together, put the society, because it's from 25 countries. You can see that everybody has their own culture, their own feel to it, and they work on a lot of conferences. So they have annual conferences which they do together in order to speak about work. They give out hands-on. So they have a passion about people knowing what to do hands-on in cybersecurity. And then they have workshops which they do to support each other as countries, in so the females all over. And they also have awards. They have something which they call the Jewel Cyber Lady Award. And they try to find, they have a criteria by which they evaluate who will take this award this year. So everybody, all the females in the region would set out what did they do, what achievements they had, and then they would have an award for that. And mostly they are, they're trying to open up the ways for females to go into the field. Now, when I'm saying this, there's one thing, I would like to highlight is that worldwide, it's known that females don't tend to go into the IT, so STEM. In Saudi Arabia, when I came back with my PhD in 2006, I think we have the opposite. So I was in my university, we had 350 females in the IT, whereas we had only 70 males in the IT. So, and you see that we have a lot of IT graduates, and this is, I always say that we have switched what the world is doing because the females want to go into this opportunity. The opportunity wasn't open that far back, and they're doing a lot of good jobs. So you find that we have a lot of females graduating from IT engineering. As soon as we have one field opening up for the females, we have a lot. So here we change. Yet, do they stay for leadership jobs? This is where we get back into track with the global issue. So, and that has other things.
I see. Yeah. That is true. That is true. But I think it is still a nice statistics that which is really good to know, to see the amount of women getting into IT space. And I think there's a lot that's going on there that is promoting and encouraging more women to take into IT and into cybersecurity. I'd like to ask you one more question, Dr. Elham, if I may, before I let you go. I know there's so much work that you've done, from creating that undergraduate program to a lot of collaboration, to your association with a number of different bodies. To all my audience who are listening, I'm sure there are a few who are looking for a career in IT or in cybersecurity, or want to do something in the space of cybersecurity like what you've done. Would there be some kind of advice that you'd like to share with my audience that are listening from across the globe today?
Sure. I have actually read something which I really believe in. Females, we have a lot of opportunities. Never say no. See, we're sort of built into saying, I don't know whether I can do that or not. No, we should really push through. We have the capabilities. And I always like to say, I like the book of Sarah Sandberg, who says, fill your space. We really need to fill our space. When we're there, we have it. The difference between the males and the females is that the males are always, they're outgoing. Yes, I can do that, even if they don't know whether they can do that or not. And this is what we should do when we have an opportunity as a female, because there is a need. We are establishing there's a need that in any area, and specifically cybersecurity, AI, where we need the input from the male view and the female view. We complement each other. So please don't say, no, I don't want to go into cybersecurity, or I don't want to go into AI or IT. The world is all changing. It is changing toward, this is the new language of the globe. The digital transformation, and we need you, and it's not as difficult as you believe. It just needs you. The opportunities there. Never say no. Go try it, and you're going to find yourself that you can do it. And it's an amazing field. I really love IT. I was one of the people who went into IT when IT was not known yet. So it's amazing, and it is everywhere. I always tell my students that with your IT, you can the job IT itself, not just cybersecurity. The job opportunities are so everywhere, open, because you can work in the medical field, you can work in schools, you can work everywhere. So with your IT career, you have a lot of doors being opening to you. So
absolutely. That's a lovely piece of message, Dr. Elham. Were you going to add something else?
No, I just want to say thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and I hope everybody the best of luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for sharing all the insights. And I want to say congratulations for all the amazing work that you've been doing. And I'm sure there's more accolades to come in the future as well. So keep doing what you're doing. I think we need more people like you out there in the world trying to do the best and the greatest of things for IT and cybersecurity. So once again, on behalf of the Chartered Institute of Information Security, I'd like to thank you for taking time talking to us and taking us through all the information. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time. It was very nice and interesting to be with you. Thank you.
Lovely. All right. Bye for now. Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.